Tesla's in a major spot, closing at that 320.11 level, kind of just meeting up with this ascending support that we've drawn up here. And Tesla's had a pretty tough week, guys. We have seen a bit of movement to the downside, a lot of it from fundamentals, right? Just a mix of things, regulatory probes, a factory fire in Germany, uncertainty over the new Model Y plans, reduced EV credit revenue, insider share sales, and just broader market weakness, guys. We've seen a lot of bearish price action over the last week, and Tesla has been no stranger to the downfall, guys. So we have seen a pretty tough week for Tesla. Nevertheless, we still are in a pretty bullish position, still remaining on course with this ascending support level, and we have not seen any notable pullback just yet. So starting this analysis on the weekly time frame, guys, we have seen that big movement up to that 488 level after seeing a bit of a volatile ascending profile. We get that big spike, buyers in that overall control, but we also see kind of a V-shaped pattern with the sellers bring us back downwards, coming right back down to that floor of 220, finding a double bottom pattern. That's where we get that nice spike up, and we hit that level of around the high of 367, where we see a bit of a rejection and we find another ascending profile, which we are currently holding, guys. And we see a lot of big moves to the upside, a good bit of chop and continue move to the upside. We also see a good bit of corrections and just kind of a lot of back and forth going on. All right, guys, turning back to the daily. So first and foremost, guys, for those of you trading tomorrow, we do have Powell speaking at 10 in the morning tomorrow Eastern Standard Time. So keep that in mind, guys. The market's going to be very volatile and shaky, and it's something to definitely keep in mind if you guys are short-term traders. Right when Powell speaks, and if he is unsure of what's going on with the market, we could see a drastic move to the downside. Vice versa, if he is optimistic, see a very big drastic move to the upside regardless of any technical analysis. So for my short-term traders, keep that in mind going into tomorrow. Nevertheless, here we are on the technical standpoint on Tesla, guys. Right now, we're still in a bullish position. Why do I say this? Well, we've broken this very obvious descending range after that full correction of that 488 high. So yes, we did see a nice movement to the upside, but we did get that full retracement. And from that retracement, guys, we see these nice movements out and a little bit of chop zones. Hitting that 220 multiple times, we finally find that breakout range, break out of that longer term resistance, kind of chop around in a flag and pole like structure here, and we get another move to the upside after chopping, and then we try to get a continued move to the upside. We cannot. We reject at that 367, retracing about half of that movement and getting right back in that first chop range here, guys. From there, we do find this ascending support, but we do find that ultimate support at that 273 level. It brings us up and another kind of different flag and pull like range, but nevertheless a big move to the upside and chop forming a pennant. And then we break that, but then we do find the retracement, try to use that once resistance as support for a bit, but we do flush to the downside, although we do hold a bit higher, finding that ascending support. And this is where we see a shift in price action. So instead of seeing a volatile move to the upside after that correction and getting into another chop range, another flag and pull like range, we see a broader kind of ascending, much healthier profile than what we saw. You know, not all this volatility. We do definitely chill out in a nice profile, but this is right where bad fundamentals seek in with Tesla, gapping us downwards, but we do see a nice correction from the buyers, bring us back up. That 327 turns into some pretty tough resistance though, and we do come back under, getting under that ascending support for a day, guys, but then that's where you see buyers buy it right back up in a very nice buyer move to the upside, hitting that ceiling of 348. So lots of back and forth, right? Fundamentals really stemming that move to the downside right there. But nevertheless, guys, we have seen a lot of back and forth for a bit of time now, but we continue to see buyers step in when they have to step in, right? So we do see that nice move to the upside. Don't form a perfect flag and pole, but we do see a nice move to the upside and a bit of a pennant-like structure, a bit different, but nevertheless, guys, kind of a pennant-like structure where we kind of seep out of this ascending support. And now we are met right back up with that longer-term ascending support. So what we're really mainly looking at here is a bounce on that support. Like I said, going into tomorrow, it's going to be really fundamental based and based on what Powell says about the market. I think we're either going to enter a pretty drastic pullback here as we are quite overextended in the general market, right? Just pulling up QQQ, for example, guys, give you a little bit of a better perspective. We are quite overextended here. And just recently, we have seen a little bit of bearish price action trying to, signal a pullback. As of right now, we do have to keep that in mind. Very much fundamentally going to keep us going or bring us down for a bit of a pullback. And Tesla being a large cap stock, if the overall market's going down because of what Powell is saying, then Tesla will probably follow it. Does it have to be for a full pullback, a large pullback, a long period of time? Not necessarily, right? If we get the bounce here at this kind of ascending support, you would be looking pretty nice to stay in a volatile fashion, trying to test that 327. If we break that, you would test the high of 338, that being a pretty prominent resistance, which has dropped us a few times now. If we get over that, we would officially be breaking over this kind of descending notion that we're in. We would be somewhat breaking that notion, and past that, guys, looking very bullish to 367. So although we had a bit of a pullback this week, guys, we do remain bullish on Tesla. As long as we are holding this ascending profile here, we definitely look good for a bounce here and a retest of some of those more important resistances. All right, guys, see you to the hourly. We see that break of that ascending support, which is the main factor where the bears have a little bit of momentum in this battle here. So we've gotten that very drastic break to the downside, that being a very wide red bar bringing us to the downside. Do see a little bit of a bounce on that ascending support and a bit of chop. If we do reject there, we could be retesting that support level and go from there, right? If that breaks, then you'd be looking at that 306. Pretty neutral, guys, on Tesla overall. My overall standpoint is neutral, right? Fundamentals tomorrow will say a lot of where the overall market's going to be going. But like I said, as long as we are above this ascending support, we are in a bullish notion. Even if we get below that, guys, if we can quickly find the bounce at 306, we still would be bullish on the stock. No real pullback, right? Trending back to the daily. No real pullback will happen until we break this ascending type of profile. So break that ascending support there. If we do pull back to 306, still a chance to bounce. If we get further down, you would be looking around that 288 for a bounce. But as of right now, guys, we still are in bullish territory with a short-term price target of 338, retesting that level. If we can break that, we are looking very nice to 348. And from there, 367 being the high of that range. Now, let me know your price predictions in the comments below for Tesla, guys. What do you guys have Tesla on the short and long term? And as always, trade smart. I will see you all in the next one.